Howdy folks, and I hope your balloons are colourful and plentiful wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today it's the turn of Sideshow's take on Pennywise the Dancing Clown, aka Bob Gray, aka Tim Curry, from the 1990 two-part TV show It. And fair warning to all you sufferers of coulrophobia, tune out now. Usual format folks, box, accessories, figure, then showcase at the end. But before we dive in, yes, you've guessed it, I'd like to send a storm drain size thank you to everyone who supported Go Figure. And please drop a like on this review as it helps other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the action figure related clowning around that we've got coming up. And trust me, there's a hell of a lot of it. So, 27 years before Bill Skarsgård donned the Jester's gaudy apparel and gave us his superbly creepy take on Pennywise, Tim Curry filled the oversized shoes and gave us an equally iconic portrayal of the hibernating horror in a two-part TV show. No Tim Curry Pennywise, no Bill Skarsgård Pennywise in my opinion, but that's enough of my main meanderings. Onto the box, let's stop it from spinning and have a quick look at it. And I've got to say, I am suitably impressed with the presentation again from Sideshow. They did this with the recent Beetlejuice figure, and I really do like the packaging. They've gone for that old VHS video cassette look, and I think they've done a cracking job here. What you've got on the front is the poster art from the movie itself. Picture of Pennywise there in the top right-hand corner. It says It the Movie. The master of horror unleashes everything you were ever afraid of. And even down to the stickers on the front here, they're actually printed on, but they're meant to look like stickers. You've got Pennywise and horror and 6 scale Sideshow. The edges of the box are really nicely weathered, like those old cardboard VHS covers. Around the side it says It the Movie, Warner Brothers logo at the top there, obviously an officially licensed product. It says horror on this green band. That weathering's continued, and even down to the cutout here at the bottom where the slip cover goes over. Just a really nice touch, and as I say, I think this presentation is outstanding. I do appreciate it. And around the back you have all the usual credits and warnings. Don't piss this figure off or you may run out of Prince Albert in a can. And I like the way the back's laid out. It's laid out to look like the original videotape as well, and you've got these stills on the left hand side, these shots of Pennywise. The description of the figure itself is actually laid out as if it was the synopsis of the film, and the credits at the bottom laid out as if it was the credits to the film. Just really nicely done, and once again that weathering's continued. On the bottom, nothing at all, like a blank videotape, and on the top it says It the Movie. Slipcover design this one, as with all Sideshow figures. Remove the slipcover and you are greeted with the clear plastic window with the figure underneath. This band, well, it used to be bands that Sideshow included, but this time it's just part of the box itself. But there's this yellow band across the middle that says Pennywise. You've got 6 scale figure at the bottom, and the rest of the packaging is sort of coloured like some kind of ominous Sideshow tent. It's a fun fair. So yeah, that's it folks, that's the box. Very impressed I am too, really do like this packaging. Brand new figure this one, literally just come through the door and gone straight in front of the camera. So we'll do as we always do, we'll break the seals on this boy and dive down onto the table to have a look at all the accessories that come with your Pennywise figure. Okay folks, so accessories out, and I've got to say from the get-go here, as regulars to the channel will know, I sometimes have a number of bugbears with Sideshow and their figures, and one of those bugbears is the amount of accessories that they include. It looks like here they've upped their game a little bit, and there's slightly more than the average as far as the amount of accessories they've given us. So are they listening? Maybe, maybe not, but I think it's a good sign. But let's dive in. We will start with the hands, as we always do. You don't mean my strange hand thing. There are 12 hands in total, if you count the gloved hands, the monster hands, and the hand which is holding these 3 balloons. But we'll just grab a couple at random to see what kind of sculpt and paint application we're looking at here. There's an open palm pair already on the figure that we'll take a look at when we bring the figure out. But yeah, you've got all kinds of hands going on here. You've got these sort of gesturing hands. You've got, I wouldn't say this is gripping hands. They're mostly gesturing hands because, I mean, a lot of the performance was from the hands here. Not all of it, obviously, but a lot of it. So having these different gestures, I think, is a really, really good idea and a great inclusion. But the actual sculpt itself looks very, very good to replicate those sort of white gloves that Pennywise wore. You've got some nice sculpted in crease work there. You've got these lines on the backs of the hands. There's creasing at the cuff area there. And as always, it's great to see that Sideshow have included attached wrist pegs to all of the hands. I do like that. There's creasing in the palm of the hands here to replicate the material. So yeah, they're pretty much, the paint applications are pretty much just plain white, but that's screen accurate, so I'm not complaining. You've got this open hand here, and yeah, overall, I think they've done a pretty good job here, Sideshow. I think the sculpt and the paint applications are really good. You've got this pointing finger hand as well. Yeah, they're all pretty much on point here. So yeah, that's the hands, or the gloved hands. We'll pop those to one side. Oh, worth mentioning this one as well. Actually, this hand has got this sort of trailing white cord on it. Now, this one I believe is specifically for holding this yellow balloon. But we'll get to that when we look at the balloons themselves. And judging by that tiny hole there, yeah, I'm assuming this is going to fit in there. And I do like that, the fact that what they've done there is continued that cord so it dangles down. Looks like that hole might be a little bit on the smaller side here, so I might need to do some work with that. But we'll keep this hand out for the time being, for when we take a look at the balloons and pop the others to one side. You also get the monstrous 3 taloned hands, and a really nice inclusion. Glad Sideshow have put this in. So sculpt and paint application look very good indeed. The skin texturing is there. It's got green paint applications, and there are also some it looks like there's some washes and dry brushing on there with browns and yellows to give it that detail. Overall, it looks suitably unpleasant and nasty. The detailing is very, very good. Especially in the palms here, there's creasing and all kinds of nastiness going on. And then you've got the 3 talons on the end. They are just quite simply painted black. There is some striation in there. If you get close enough in there, you can actually sort of see some striation in those talons, which is a nice touch in the sculpt. So yeah, well sculpted. Paint applications very good. Screen accuracy is most certainly there. And once again, great to see Sideshow including wrist pegs with these hands as well. So yeah, those are the 2 3-fingered talon hands. We'll pop those to one side. Okay, well, while we're talking of hands, we might as well look at these balloons. Now, straight out of the box, I wouldn't say I was concerned, but when I picked these balloons up, owning the Pennywise Hot Toys Bill Skarsgård iteration, I know that balloon was quite light. It was made out of a sort of a very thin, translucent plastic. This feels a lot heavier, so how the figure's going to hold up with this kind of weight on it, we will find out when we get to the showcase. But yeah, what you've got here is just a thin white metal rod meant to replicate the string holding the balloon, and then the balloon itself is, if you can hear that, it feels like a hard plastic, but it's got a little bit of weight to it, more than, as I say, the Hot Toys take on Pennywise. A little bit of heft there, but yeah, these sort of egg-shaped balloons, really nicely painted. It's just like it's been dipped in yellow paint, so you can't really go wrong with that. But yeah, the accuracy is there, and I do like the little detailing here where it's been tied at the bottom. As I mentioned before there, just noticed this actually, because this is the first time obviously I've seen these accessories. Yeah, I suspect that hand, that hole there might need a little bit of work. Might be a hot water or a hairdryer there, or it may just work by moving this thing around and it slotting into place, making the hole big enough. But yeah, that is pretty much meant to sit like that in that hand. Once that hole will accommodate it. Now, as I say, I think it's great that they've continued the strand of the string that's holding the balloon and the sculpt of the hand. So yeah, that's the balloon and the balloon holding hand. You also get another 3 balloons. Now this has got some real weight to it when you combine 3. Made out of the same material as the yellow balloon. Obviously these metal sections are designed to replicate the string, and it's just done exactly the same way as the yellow one. Same material and same paint application. You've got a white, a blue, and a red one. These are affixed to this hand. You can't take these out. They're a permanent fixture. Once again, you've got the cord hanging down with the sculpted onto the glove itself, wrist peg attached. And overall, yeah, I think really, really effective. It'd be interesting to see how the figure looks when this is attached, and how the body holds up to this kind of weight. They're not super heavy, but they've most certainly got some heft to them. So yeah, that's the 3 balloons. What else do you get? You get Georgie's paper boat. A nice little addition here from Sideshow. All one piece of sculpted plastic, and just meant to look like a newspaper that's been folded up. And there's some readable details on there. Most of it is just a bit of a blur, but overall, screen accuracy's there, and the scale's on point, and it looks pretty effective. So another nice inclusion from Sideshow. Before we get to this, the second of the 2 head sculpts, we'll just take a quick look at Sideshow's base. This is another of my niggles with Sideshow that regulars to the channel will be aware of. The first one was accessories, the second one is this base. I'm not going to bang on too much about it because as people who've watched my reviews will know my feelings on this base. It's a loathing which I can barely describe. It's just 2 pieces of hexagonal plastic stuck together. What you've got on the front here is It the movie, which is sort of done in this high gloss on top of this dull black of the base itself, and pretty much that's it. I suppose in its favour they've got it on the top rather than putting it on the bottom, and I've seen a lot of Sideshow figures where they printed it on the bottom for some obscure reason. I'll say my piece and then we'll move on. Really, at this price point, high-end 1/6 scale figures, we need something better than this, Sideshow. It's not good enough. It really isn't. Whether it's a mini diorama or something with a little bit more to it. I know there are a lot of people out there who like these hexagonal bases, and they work for them in the display, but I would rather see something with a little bit more thought and a little bit more worthy of the price point, shall we say. But that's my rant over. Comes with a standard issue Sideshow crotch grabber, so empty slots in the back there. So that is your stand. And finally, now, as I mentioned before, 2 head sculpts with this this particular figure. I thought we'd take a look at this one now. We'll take a look at the other head sculpt when we bring the figure out. There is one which is, how can I put this, non-monster, if that makes sense, and this with him in full flight. And I've got to say, first impressions are very, very good indeed. Let's start with this hair. Now, this hair, I wouldn't say it's artificial hair. It feels more like wool or a man-made fibre. How can I describe it? Sort of like something that a duster would be made out of, but I think it works. The colour's right, the style is right, obviously. I don't know how they've attached this to the head. I don't think it's roots, I think it's just been stuck to the back of the head sculpt itself, but it works. The colour's on point, and it's got that texture, as you can see. I can't stop touching it. It's that kind of material that you've used here, which you can actually fluff out, and you can do all kinds of things with. So if you're wanting to, say, have it flat down to the side of his head like that, you can get away with that. Or if you're wanting something more statement-esque, you can lift it up. And that's, I think what they've done here, Sideshow, with this hair, the material they picked is a really, really good choice. Rather than artificial hair, this sort of man-made wool-type fibre. So yeah, there are lots of layers going on here, so you can really muck about with it. So the hair is very, very well done. Let's get this sculpt right into shot, so, as I say, first impressions are very good. Got some stray red hair going on there. Let's hope it's not going to molt on us. But straight away, yeah, that is most certainly Tim Curry as Pennywise. The sculpt is very, very good. Particularly that mouth area. I think they've done a cracking job on the mouth there. And I've noticed straight out of the box, these teeth are super sharp, so watch out if you're picking this figure up, particularly by the head. We don't want any accidents out there. But yeah, the mouth is really well sculpted. Those teeth are jagged. and nasty and messy, and there's brown washes on there to sort of indicate their age. Inside the mouth, you've got that sculpted in tongue with that slightly wet look paint application. Overall, the proportions are right. The creasing in the face here from the grimace and the scream almost. Crow's feet around the eyes there. If I had any complaint, I would say those eyes could be slightly better painted. You've got that sort of red and yellow effect on the outside of the eye and then the black dot in the middle. I think they're good, but I think they could be ever so slightly better. You've got that blue sort of diamond shape sticking up from the top of the eye, and then that line continued down underneath the eye. The eyebrows, those accentuated eyebrows, are well painted, and overall I think they've done a great job here. The white paint applications are very, very good. The textures change when you go over to the back of the head there, so it looks like the head's actually been shaved. But overall, I think that is very, very good. I am suitably impressed, and I like this hair. I think you can futz away to your heart's content with the hair there. So yeah, we're off to a very, very good start here. That is the swap out monster head. So without further ado, let's bring Pennywise out. Let's get him onto that stand, onto the turntable, and have a close-up look. Okay folks, so here he is. It's Pennywise himself, straight out of the box, straight onto the stand and turntable. And first impressions. I've got to say, first impressions are very, very good indeed. The proportions look absolutely nailed on to me. That outfit looks on point, the colours look right, the materials look right. That head sculpt looks just as good as the other one that we were looking at in the accessories section. Yeah, overall, it's looking very, very good indeed. But we'll do as we always do. We will stop him from spinning and have a close-up look at him. And I've got to say straight away, and I noticed this out of the box, this is one very heavily padded figure. The body itself, I'm not going to say is a standard body, because I've actually noticed that underneath the body is all white, so I'm assuming the body was made specifically for this figure, but then has been padded. But yeah, we'll get to the padding when we start to look at the articulation, but we will start at the bottom and work our way up as we always do. Shoes. Now the shoes are sculpted plastic, and they're just a sort of an Oxford style shoe with sculpted in laces there. There is sole on the shoe itself. One thing that I did notice straight away is that they've weathered these shoes, which is nice to see. You've got weathering on the tips there, there's weathering on the soles, there's dinks and bumps at the front of the shoes if the light's catching this, which is nice to see. Yeah, overall those shoes are quite well done. They've been attached to the body rather than using a dumbbell peg there. They're just attached directly in, as you can see there where that join line is, which is going to limit the articulation. Let's just check it while we're here. You're going to get very little to no forward or backward motion. Hopefully there will be some. Yeah, you've got side to side going on there. You've got the full side to side, but yeah, just tend to limit the forward and backward a little bit there. But moving up now, this sort of yellow suit underneath the rest of his clothing is a sort of it feels like a cotton material to me. It's not you start to, once you've been collecting for as long as I have, you can recognise the quality of the materials that are used, and this is definitely a Sideshow cotton, inverted commas. It's not the thickest in the world, not perhaps the best quality, but it's pretty good. It feels pretty decent, and the stitch work is very, very good. Regulars to the channel will know how OCD I get about stitch work on 6 scale figures, but it looks pretty well done here. I mean, down at the bottom you can see the quality of the stitch work at the end of this ruff section, this ankle ruff, and there's no loose threads hanging down or anything like that. This cotton's got a slight shine to it, which is nice to see. On the bottom of these ruffs you've got these 2 stripes. There's a green stripe and a purple stripe. Now I'm not sure how they've been done. It looks like they've been printed on, possibly screen printed onto the surface of the material, but they're screen accurate, and they look really good, and with that shine to them. Moving up, let's check the articulation while we're here. Now the fat suit itself, it feels to me like it's in a couple of different sections. It feels like you've got a shin pad fat suit, so to speak, and then there's a gap at the knee, and then the rest of the fat suit runs all the way up pretty much to the chest area where you go back to the body itself. Actually, now there's still some more padding, but the padding becomes thinner, so the padding goes all the way up to the top of the chest area. Just becomes slightly less up there. The arms themselves aren't in any way padded, but the knees, let's check the articulation here, and you've got about that's a sturdy joint there. I don't believe that's double, it doesn't feel like a double hinge, but you've got about 45 degrees there. I'm not going to push it any further than that because I don't want to damage the fat suit, but yeah, and that is one sturdy joint. You can probably hear it squeaking. And it's been another one of my bugbears, as regulars will know, janky bodies with Sideshow figures, but this doesn't feel janky at all. And I've got to admit, in between takes there, what I did do was I swapped out the hand here for the balloon holding hand, and it had absolutely no problems with that weight whatsoever, which is great to see. So another good move here from Sideshow. Doesn't seem like it's a janky body, but let's continue and find out if it is or not. Let's check this joint on the other leg. Yeah, that's fine, exactly the same as the other one. A reassuring squeak there of stiffness. Moving up now, let's take a look at the rest of this suit. Now, on the front of the suit, you've got these pom-poms. Now, these are screen accurate. These feel like they're made out of some form of wool, and they are stitched to the front of the yellow suit itself. Doesn't look like the stitching there is massively substantial, so I'd say exercise caution with these. You wouldn't want them falling off, but they are equidistant, they're the right colour, and yeah, they look proportionally right as well. Moving up to this, the waistcoat. Now, the waistcoat itself has got this sort of, it's man-made material, feels like a nylon, and it's got, lift his arm up so we can see it properly here. It's got this sort of screen printed leaf stroke flower pattern on it, which is once again is screen accurate. You've got the piping on the edges around the arm and around the edges of the waistcoat itself, which is in this purple colour, once again screen accurate. That pattern's continued around the back. The fit is just right. Inside there is a lining. It's a black man-made fibre with that sort of super shiny paisley pattern going on in there. I am not sure if that is screen accurate, to be honest with you. If it is, please drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know. Well, it could just be Sideshow putting the lining in there. I know they have a tendency to do that. They did that with the Beetlejuice figure. They put a lining in the suit that wasn't screen accurate, but yeah, the lining is very, very nice. The fall and fit are very, very good. Underneath that waistcoat, you've got this shirt. Now, the shirt itself feels like a nylon material, and it's this blue and purple stripe with this sort of red stroke orange highlight. Now, at first I thought that highlight line wasn't screen accurate, but going back and looking at some of the photographs, actually it is. So that is on point as well. We will check the articulation of the waist while we're here. I'm not expecting miracles here because it's because of this fat suit. Now, there's not a vast amount of twist. There's a little bit of twist at the waist there, not a huge amount. Let's check the ab crunch. No, not an awful lot going on there either. A lot of that is down to the fat suit, I would say. Let's check the articulation in the arms. Now, the arms themselves, yeah, they'll go to about, let's see how far I can push this. No, they'll go right the way up. That's great to see. So, yeah, you can get those arms right the way up there, and yeah, there's a butterfly joint at the shoulder as well. So really, you can have a massive amount of fun posing this one above the waist, shall we say. But yeah, articulation is pretty good there. These are the open palm hands that we mentioned in the accessories section. Pretty much the same level of paint and sculpt as the rest of the hands. As I mentioned before as well, that body is white there too. So if you do get any riding up of this shirt, it's not going to look unsightly and clash. Right, so let's take a look at the head sculpt now. Well, before we look at the head sculpt, let's take a look at this ruff. Now, the ruff itself, and worth mentioning as well, the yellow portion of the suit has actually got a zip fastener on the front of it. Not that it's going to go any further than this first pom-pom, but yeah, there is a zip fastener on there. The layers on this ruff look absolutely on point to me. I'm going to bring in a photograph in a moment to compare it to. The stitch work is really nice on the edging of that ruff. There are 3 layers to it. You've got this white layer, which is then stitched to this layer that is made of the same material as the shirt. and then the third layer, which has got that sort of lacy effect going around the neck area, which absolutely on point once again. I think it's looking like Sideshow have actually nailed this one on. Let's take a look at the head sculpt now. This is the obviously the second of the two head sculpts, and I'm just having a look here. Yeah, the neck area is white as well, so this whole body is white. I would say there's a slight clash there between the colour of the head sculpt and the colour of the neck. The body is ever so slightly greyer, whereas the face is full on white, but you're not going to see that with the fall of the hair, really. It's not a massive issue. So the head sculpt, I have got to say, I think that is absolutely excellent. I think I'm preferring this one actually to the monster head sculpt. That is unmistakably Tim Curry from any angle as Pennywise. It really is. That smile is 100% on point. The teeth really well done, shiny and enameled with this slight wet look to the mouth itself. That nose, the colour is right. There's a slight mark on mine here on the nose there, if the camera's catching that, but minor imperfection there. The eyes are nice and glassy. I think the eyes have been painted better here than on the monster head sculpt. I think I'm not going to say it's a niggle, but I have noticed in the past that sometimes Sideshow's eyes can be a little bit on the lifeless side, but not here. I think they've really got the likeness of Tim Curry. I'm not going to say 100%. I am struggling to find an angle here where that actually drops. It doesn't for me. I think they absolutely nailed it. The paint applications on the face, same high standard as the other head sculpt. The hair is exactly the same. You've got all that movement in there. I was checking some shots in between takes here, and maybe the hair was a little shorter in certain areas. It had more of a sort of afro look to it in some shots from the film when it's up here, and it looked maybe a little bit more layered, but I think I'm probably nitpicking there. I think you could still foots this to really pretty much anywhere you wanted it to go. Let's check the articulation in this head sculpt. Yeah, you've got a right and a left going on there. Let's try the forwards and backwards. Not an awful lot of forwards and backwards going on here. I think that's down to how it's been affixed. But another thing as well worth mentioning at this point as well, and something I've complained about on a few occasions, is that gap, that unsightly gap that we get between the head sculpt and the neck. It doesn't seem to be here, so it looks like Hot Toys? Sideshow even have managed to avoid that on this figure, which is good to see as well. So yeah, you've got a decent amount of right and left going on, as I said, but the forward and backward is a little bit on the limited side. So yeah, maybe some of that leering down and menacing look is going to come from having him slightly leaning forward with that waist section, that joint of the waist section being used. So yeah, there you have it, folks. That's Pennywise. So let's get him back on the stand and going for final thoughts on this guy before we zip over to the showcase. Right, I've got to say, let's get him spinning again, actually. I've got to say, I am very impressed. And I'll keep banging on about it, but I have had issues with Sideshow in the past. Janky bodies, lack of accessories. I've got to say, the accessories they've given us here, although maybe not quite up to the price point and the standard that they should be, are definitely an improvement. I mean, you've got the three balloons and the hand going on there. You've got the swap out monster hands. You've got two head sculpts, which is always a great thing to see from Sideshow, because it's very rare that they do that. So yeah, accessories very good. The outfit now, at this point, I think it's probably worth bringing in. Just bear with me while I grab my phone. I think it's worth bringing in a shot of Pennywise. And this actually is one of the better photos that I could find, because some of them aren't very clear. This photo's actually been taken offset. This was an offset shot. Obviously, it doesn't have the gloves on, but I think it gives the most accurate depiction of the outfit and the clearest one. And as far as I can tell, they pretty much nailed it on. I think the colours are right. The outfit is right. That hair, yes, maybe as you can see here, this it was a little bit more layered around the sides, but I think, as I say, I think I'm nitpicking there. I think Sideshow have done a superb job here, and I suppose it's surprised even me, because whenever I get my hands on a Sideshow figure, I've sort of not expect the worst, but you become a little bit jaded, and there are certain things that you expect not to be 100%, and I'm struggling to find anything to complain about with this figure. I'm struggling to find anything wrong with this figure, and you know me, if I can't find anything wrong with a figure, I have to give it a 10. I think there's a depiction of Tim Curry as Pennywise the Dancing Clown from the 1990 even TV show Hit. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I do have some minor niggles, which means it's not going to be a 10. As always, that base, the base itself, really, please do something about it, Sideshow. Even if you give us an alternate base, even if you add it as an optional extra, when we're paying this kind of money for a high-end figure, some form of decent mini diorama or something like that wouldn't go amiss. So I'm going to take maybe 0.5 off for that. The accessories, as I mentioned, absolutely on point. We could do slightly more, so I'm going to take a 0.5 off for that as well. I think we're still not quite there with Sideshow's accessories, although, as I say, second head sculpt is a huge improvement. So I think we're going to go with a 9 here. That feels right to me. Yeah, how it stands up over time, how that body stands up over time, we will find out. But I think, yeah, I think what Sideshow have done here is probably one of their best pieces in a long time, in my opinion. So there you have it. It's 9 for Pennywise the Clown. So that about wraps it up for this review, folks. I hope it's been useful. What are your thoughts on this piece? Do you have it in the collection? Am I completely wrong with the score? What are your thoughts on the TV show? What are your thoughts on the movie? What are your thoughts on Sideshow, Tim Curry? Whatever it might be, nothing is off menu, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. I would be fascinated to hear your take on this. And I suppose all it remains for me to say, before we go, a quick mention of what's coming up on the show. We have a raft of new 1/6 scale figures coming in, stuff from Hot Toys, In Art, Pure Art, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Mars Toys, Sideshow. The list goes on. So yeah, also we've got more episodes of Don't Make Me Choose, more episodes of Grail or Fail, and it almost finished, almost complete, is the updated collection room tour video, which should be coming out this weekend, in the next day or two. So stay tuned for that. So mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all it remains for me to say, as always, a massive thank you for watching from myself, from Pennywise. Take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.